Hello Infinity, it's Jocelyn Jean and welcome to my channel. Today is a very good day. Today is a short-lived day and I'm here outside in San Francisco. Oh my gosh. Yay! And today is a very special day of mine. It's my special day today, so happy birthday to me. Yay! I'm not getting any younger. Yeah, so good. Nice song, babe. Hey babe, hyena. This is golden, baby. This trip is golden. Oh my gosh, so nice here. Ta-da! Happy birthday to me. I wish you're here. Oh my gosh, so nice. The place. Whew. I'm here in Golden Gate Bridge, San Francisco, California. So this is the tallest suspension bridge of the world and it is one of the 7 wonders of the world. So behind me is the Golden Gate Bridge. Yay! So how do you like the view? It's the Golden Gate Ferry Terminal. Here, there are a lot of things to do. You can do by walking, buying some stuff and everything, shopping. So yeah, I think I'm going back for a while because I still need to go to the 11:45 tour to the Golden Gate Bridge and the Fisherman's Wharf and the Cannery.
And eventually some of them opened these seafood stands and then full-service restaurants. We do still have some commercial fishing here. The 2 cats, you've seen those going past the ship. Now those are not our famous cable cars. I'm going to show you those in just a minute. But these are electric trolleys. And the reason each one looks different, each one has been painted to represent the trolleys of a different city. As you can see as we drive along, Fisherman's Wharf is very touristy, of course. Lots of places to buy t-shirts and things like that. Here on the right, Cioppino's restaurant. A Cioppino is a tomato-based seafood stew that was supposedly invented here at Fisherman's Wharf, and today a lot of the restaurants serve it. Here on the left, this group of red brick buildings, this is called the Cannery. Today it's shops and restaurants and a hotel, but when this was built at the beginning of the 20th century, this was the largest fruit and vegetable cannery in the entire world. There were about 18 West Coast canning companies that put their money together to build this, and when they did, they named their new company Del Monte Foods, which is one of our big brands of canned fruits and vegetables. So this is where they got their start. We're going to turn right at the next corner. Here on the left is the Buena Vista Cafe. Back in the 1950s, that's where Irish coffee was introduced in America. They serve about 2,000 of them a day there now. Here on the right, Aquatic Park. There are people swimming out there right now. I says behind it, that's a great image. Square, the old chocolate factory. They were making their chocolate here the first half of the 20th century. Some of these buildings, though, go all the way back to the 1860s. So eventually Ghirardelli moved out to the suburbs to a modern factory, and this was turned into shops and restaurants. 500 pounds of Ghirardelli chocolate and sold it overnight. Turn left here. 4 million pounds of chocolate a year. In the world during World War II. In fact, during the 3.5 years that the U.S. was involved in World War II, on average, the San Francisco area built a ship a day. Some of that image we have of Rosie the Riveter.
Yeah.
For those of you who can see through the front windshield, got a nice view of that skyscraper, the Transamerica Pyramid, and also the Salesforce Tower. The crookedest street in the world, where the cars, as they come down the hill, they go back and forth and back and forth. When we get to the view of the crooked street, it's going to be on the right side. Making their way down the crooked part. Look at that. Yeah, lots and lots of them making their way down there. So we are now driving through North Beach. It's our Little Italy neighborhood. So there are a lot of Italian restaurants here. There used to be a lot of Italian people living here, but not as many anymore. They tended to move out to the suburbs over time. But lots of outdoor cafes and Italian bakeries and places roasting their own espresso bean. You get a little more view of North Beach here. To the left, a beautiful church, St. Peter and Paul. This park on the left is called Washington Square. Since it's such a nice day, well, I was going to say people will be out there enjoying the beautiful day, but it's a little chilly today, so not too many people here. You can see.
Nice song, babe.
Anyway, this neighborhood has all the big department stores. Here on the right, there's a huge Apple store. Here on the right is the actual park called Union Square. We're going to see just ahead of us on the road city. Back in the old days, what to think? Guessing 1 million or 2 million is very typical for a guess, but no, we are our whole population is a little less than 900,000.
Wow.
Yes. We just don't have much land since we're built on a peninsula. There's no room to grow. Fresh style architecture. In California. It a fire break, and it kind of worked and stopped the fire. Look here on the left, a beautiful old building. It used to be a Cadillac car dealership. Here on the right is the Tesla dealership. But right next to that on the right, another beautiful building that's now some of the British car brands in here. But see, when they rebuilt the cool invention of 1906, they were the iPhones at the time. Older City Hall with that beautiful, beautiful dome on top. It's said to be one of the top. San Francisco Ballet. We have an Asian art museum. So this neighborhood is quite a cultural and government district. Modern building on our left is, the city doesn't require that anymore, but they've decided to continue doing Victorian architecture. You know, Queen Victoria for like 60-some years, so styles evolve. But now look at the two that are directly on our left. Those are 20 years later, the 1880s. Those are a style we call community. In the 1970s especially, thousands and thousands of gay men moved to San Francisco from all around the United States and other countries too, to enjoy, being able to live openly and have freedom. And this neighborhood became very much the center of that. As we're going to head kind of down toward the commercial district in the neighborhood where there are lots and lots. It's only 7. So we're going to be turning right here onto Market Street, but we're on Castro Street. Directly ahead of us is the very heart of the gay neighborhood. So we'll see lots and lots of the rainbow flags, the gay pride flag. I see the marquee for the Castro Theater, which has always been the heart of the neighborhood, with people doing sing-alongs to famous movies and things like that. Again, most of the heart of the neighborhood is this block straight ahead of us. And boy, look at all the rainbow flags flying. There's a memorial here on the right of painting prices. As you can see, almost every square inch of land is built on, and we are a pretty small city geographically. There's just very little room to build extremely expensive apartments. So we also have a lot of people who live in the city who work in Silicon Valley or for other tech companies. Uber, Lyft, single family home in San Francisco is about $3,500 a month.
Wow.
Now, if you work at Google, maybe you can afford that. But where do your school teachers live? Where do your firefighters live? These are real problems. Look at the view to the left. It's just going to get better and better. The Jefferson Airplane. One of the things that encouraged them to come here for that summer was this famous song. In the late 19th, early 20th century, people thought they were going to get rich by planting these trees here because they grow really fast, and in Australia they make really good lumber. But for some reason, when they grow in California, they don't make good lumber. But they had planted thousands and thousands of these trees, and then they just kind of ignored them. They just abandoned them. So today we've got huge numbers of these eucalyptus trees growing along the coast of California. But there's a problem with them. Eucalyptus trees have a lot of oil in them, and we do get water toward Silicon Valley. Now we're looking toward downtown. Beyond that, on the other side of San Francisco Bay, is the area we call the East Bay. The cities of Oakland and Berkeley are over there. And then you can see this huge transmission tower on the left at about 10 o'clock. So that's for our TV and radio transmissions. They had to make the tower really tall because with all of our hills and valleys, to get the broadcast signals to everybody, the tower just had to be really tall.
Yeah, so good.
magsasalita pa ba ako? Para tayo nagbablog dito.
So across this next street, we'll be entering Golden Gate Park. It's one of the largest city parks in all of the United States and one of the most beautiful.
Amazing.
If you've been to New York City, that was kind of the great city park of 19th century America, and we wanted to do the same thing. So we actually brought out here the guy around and all that sand. He said, forget it, it's not possible, I can't do it. We're about to cross over. This woman who represents the House of the U.S., which is the second in line to the presidency after the vice president. People in San Francisco, during the AIDS epidemic, HIV/AIDS, she did a lot of good things to help people who were suffering in that epidemic. And she also did a lot to help preserve public lands, so that's really good. The building on the left is an art museum called the DeYoung Museum of Art. That's actually where we're going to stop for restrooms. Here on our right is the California Academy of Sciences. Keep going, keep going. Sciences here on the right. They have an aquarium, a planetarium, a natural history museum, a living rainforest, and it's an extremely eco-friendly, just temporary, but we did just celebrate the 150th anniversary of Golden Gate Park a couple years ago, so the Ferris wheel was put here as part of that celebration. They'll just be here for a couple years. Right behind the band shell, there are more restrooms, and there's sometimes somebody there selling hot dogs. I see at least one food truck over there.
Nice song, eh?
Beach here at the western edge of the city, and we were very creative when we named it. We call this Ocean Beach.
Nice one. Yeah.
So of course the water is always so cold, and the air is usually pretty chilly here, even in the summertime. So we don't have a lot of days where people are sunbathing, but this is very typical, flying kites or walking their
Yeah, so good. Nice song, eh? Golden Gate Bridge, baby. Yes.
renting out houses for people to live in is one of the ways we're doing that. But it's all market rate housing though, so very, very expensive. There are other buildings that are being rented out to companies or schools, but they've just done a great job. It's a huge area, a huge land area here. There on the left, there are more of those houses, but it's just really a very, very pretty area. To keep the cars out, you're walking to the side, so that's what I'll be doing, jumping out to move the barricades inside. Now I do have to tell you, unfortunately we did get a little bit behind schedule today, so I can't give you as much time here as I
Yeah, so good. This trip is golden, baby. Welcome to Golden Gate Bridge, San Francisco, California. Yay! Happy birthday to me. Nice song, eh? Welcome to Golden Gate Bridge, San Francisco, California. This trip is golden, baby. Yay! Woo! Yeah, Golden Gate! Yeah, this tree is golden, baby.
Happy birthday, Jill!
Oh, thank you so much.
There's a legend that says they paint the bridge once every 7 years, and it takes 7 years to paint. So you start at one end, paint your way across, and then start over again. That's not true though. But they are constantly working on it, whatever section needs it. You know, at the end of the Cold War, this could have all been sold off to real estate developers and made into private housing, but instead it was made into national.
Yeah, so good.
This was the art museum during the World's Fair, and the architect said, I'm going to design something that looks like ancient Roman ruins. That'll put people in the right. At this World's Fair, they were celebrating the opening of the Panama Canal, and also that we had rebuilt the city after our big earthquake and fire of 19.
The glory that was Rome is of another day. I've been terribly home and forgotten in Manhattan. I'm going home. Your golden sun will shine.
Beautiful Ghirardelli sign. That's such a landmark.
Yeah, so good.